Next, we'll see how the if function works. Our screen is displaying a worksheet that illustrates the name of students, their grades, and a piece of text in the result column. If the student earns the grade equal to or higher than 10, the respective cell in the result column will display the text pass. Otherwise, it will display the text fail. So Smith failed and Jones failed too. On the contrary, Black and Richards have passed because their grade was higher than 10.
However, this is a text that we have typed ourselves. What we need to do is use the if function so that Excel automatically returns the appropriate text. We're going to delete the contents in these cells and use the if function to have the same result.
Let's see how the if function works. Like all functions that we've explained so far, it starts with typing equals. Then we type the name of the function and the function arguments enclosed in parentheses. The if function requires 3 arguments. This is the first one, this is the second one, the text pass in this case, and this is the third one, the text fail. Arguments should be separated by commas.
Sometimes, depending on the localization settings of the Excel application, you may need to use semicolons instead of commas. If you are not using the proper argument separator, Excel will return an error message.
Now, let's take a few moments to understand arguments better. The first argument is to check whether a condition is satisfied or not. The condition, in our case, is whether the grade present in cell C6 is greater than 10 or not.
So this condition is our first argument. It is checking whether the value displayed in cell C6 is higher than or equal to 10. If the condition is true, Excel will return the second argument. That's the text pass. If the condition is not true, as in the case of Smith and Jones, Excel will return the third argument, fail.
We will type the if function in cell D6. So we're going to select the cell and type equals if C6 greater than or equal 10, comma, and we type the second argument. This is pass. And then we type the third one. This is fail. When the arguments are text, we have to enclose them in quotation marks. We close the quotation marks and the parentheses, and we press enter. So Excel returns the text fail.
Smith has a grade of 9. Therefore, the check is not satisfied because 9 is lower than 10. That's why Excel will return the third argument, which is fail.
The next thing we're going to see is how to use the fill handle to copy the function to the rest of the students. So, as soon as the pointer takes the form of a black thin cross, we drag downwards, holding the left mouse button down.
Excel displays the text pass for Black because the condition is satisfied, 18 is higher than 10. Jones failed because his grade is lower than 10. And Richards passed because his grade is higher than 10.
We'll continue to the next sheet to see another example using the if function. Our screen is currently displaying a worksheet illustrating 2 sports teams, Real and Inter, as well as the points they have gathered during the championship. So, as we can see, Real has gathered 40 points and Inter has gathered 36 points so far. What we want to do is display the name of the team which has gathered the most points in this cell here, cell C14.
So we'll have to type equals, if, open the parentheses, type the first argument, D5 greater than D6, if D5, which corresponds to the points of Real, is greater, higher than D6, which corresponds to the points of Inter, then Excel should return C5, which corresponds to the text Real. If D5 on the other hand isn't higher than D6, Excel should return C6, which corresponds to the text Inter.
So we bring the mouse pointer to the cell C14 and type equals first and the name of the function if D5 greater than D6, comma, C5, comma, C6. We close the parentheses and press enter. So the cell is now displaying Real because Real has gathered more points than Inter.
Suppose you have made a mistake. We bring the mouse pointer in Real's points and type, for example, 30. As soon as we press enter, the text displayed in cell C14 will change. Now Inter has gathered more points than Real. This is why the if function you have entered in cell C14 is returning the text Inter.
If is probably the function you will use more often than any other. So the fact that you've just learned how to use it properly is very important.